Imagine what would happen to you and for you if you eliminated fear from what it is that you want in your life. Eliminating fear from your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to be fearless on today's episode right here on In the Mix. One thing I realize is that as we're talking today, really about facing fear, how to forsake the familiar, I realize that fear paralyzes you, but it is faith that mobilizes you. Fear is always going to keep you in a place of stinking thinking. It's going to always keep you stagnant. It's always going to keep you stifled when you ought to be in a place to where you're streamlining and soaring to another level. And as I'm talking about it today, one thing I realize is, especially when you're talking about forsaking the familiar, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to be uncomfortable being comfortable. And that is the most dangerous place that you can be in life is not when you're walking on water, but when you're staying in the boat. Who told you what you can't do? Who told you what you can't become? Who told you what you can't overcome? And here's the question. Why are you listening to it? Why are you listening to it? Why are you allowing situations in life and fear and what other people say that you can or can't do to talk you out of what your purpose is trying to cause you to step into? For you to overcome that, number one, here's one thing that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to shift your mindset. You're going to have to realize that fear is an illusion. That's the first thing. You have to understand something about fear. To beat fear, to defeat fear, you got to understand fear. Fear is an illusion. Fear is what wants to keep you out of something that's going to actually move you into a greater place. Fear is a mental construct that always brings up something from the past that wants to presently stop you from moving into your future. And when I understand that mental construct, when I am now going for a goal, now when I'm trying to do something, when I'm trying to raise capital, when I'm trying to overcome a certain habit or develop who it is that I am, and I come up against the roadblock of fear, I have to understand this. I have to remind myself it's a mental construct, because what's on the other side of fear is greater than the fear that I'm experiencing right now. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is having the faith in the midst of fear to say, I'm going to go for it by any means necessary. And in order to do that, when you understand that fear is an illusion, it's a distraction, it is what the 23rd Psalm says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. When I understand that fear is an illusion, it's a shadow. It's not really real. It's not really substantive. It's something that's trying to sway me. It's a societal conditioning. It is a mental construct. It is an opinion that oftentimes becomes my prison. And when I understand that the imagination that I have is greater than the illusion of what it is that I'm experiencing, I can overcome it. Why? Because I can be fearless. Fearless doesn't mean you don't have any fear at all. Once you understand this, fearless does not mean that you don't have any fear at all. Fearless just means that you fear less than most. When everybody else is fraught and distraught and getting ready to jump overboard and believing it's all over for them, you still have to say, hey, I'm going to fear less than most. I'm going to have that mindset. I'm going to tap into the greatness of who it is that I am. So I understand that fear, one, is an illusion. I have to overcome my internalized conditioning. I also have to overcome my internalized narrative. So fear is an illusion. Secondly, fear now really inhibits the power of my affirmation. Fear is an illusion. Fear disturbs and disrupts the power of my affirmation. I have to affirm myself. I have to believe that I can make it. I have to now move from a greater place of my life to where it is that I've been called to be. I have to affirm it. I have to rehearse it. I have to confirm it. So it speaks to the conversation that you're having with yourself. How do you talk to yourself? Many times our conversation internally is very, very negative. It's very despondent. And because you've talked yourself out of it so much that you never step into it. How are you loving on you with the words that you say about you? Who do you have in your life who's affirming you? Or do you just have negative detractors? Do you just have detractors in your life who are always negative? Do you have people who are just pulling you away from your dream and your goal and your idea and telling you that it can't happen, it can't be done? And here's what you do. You forsake the opportunity and you now cling to the familiar when you ought to be forsaking the familiar, when you ought to be facing the fear. Here's the thing about fear. Fear is either face everything and run or face everything and rise. That's the acronym for it. And many times what we're doing, we're not rising, we're running. We're running from responsibility. We're running from beating back bad habits. We're running from our goals rather than running towards our goals. We're running in fear rather than walking by faith. Come on, you got to get a hold of yourself. You got to speak life into your life. You got to look at yourself and tell yourself that you have what it is that you need to get to the next level. You have what you need to get to the next level. Who is stopping you but you? The hater is just an illusion. The negative words are just an illusion. The distraction is just an illusion. But there's power in your affirmation. There's power in the fact that your words are creating your world. Whatever you speak into the atmosphere will appear. Your future, your funeral is on the tip of your tongue. There is power in your affirmation. Now you got to create a distinction. Got to move into a greater place of manifestation. That what you're saying, you will see. But you have to see greater than beyond the illusion. You have to forsake that familiar. You have to get to a particular place in your life to where you're realizing that you can grow through what it is that you go through. That when you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at are going to change. So I have to understand that there's an illusion. I have to understand that there's affirmation. Fear is an illusion. I got to tap into the power of affirmation. And then thirdly, here's what I have to do. I have to tap into the love connection. I'm not talking about you getting booed up with anybody else. I'm not talking about you going on a date. I'm not talking about you jump in a broom and get married with somebody. I'm not talking about that type of love connection. I'm talking about the connection of love that you have with yourself. Because what does scripture say? Perfect love casteth out fear. So fear is not greater than love. Love is greater than fear. And many times we place fear on a higher totem pole, on a higher level than love. And so now we're afraid to love. We're afraid to be vulnerable. We're afraid to move into a greater place of now ingratiating people into our life because we've had so much hurt. We've dealt with so many hurdles. And so as a result of the hurt and the hurdles that we've experienced, now it damages the love that we have internally. And so as a result of it, the abscess of fear moves us into a place to where we're absent from our life. Isn't it interesting? The abscess produces an absence. The abscess of fear produces our absence when it comes to faith. We ought to be present when it comes to our faith, when it comes to our fervor, when it comes to our fight, when it comes to us walking into favor. We ought to be present. But here's what we're doing. Fear is causing us to forsake. Fear is causing us to forsake what it is that we need to embrace. Rather than love should be causing us to forsake the familiar. It gets better on the other side of familiarity because oftentimes familiarity breeds contempt. And many of us have a contemptuous attitude and idealized mindset towards our goals, towards our dreams, towards getting it done, to where we believe what has happened is fatal and it is final. It's not. If you can just change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at are going to change. If you can just change your idealization and mental concept of who it is that you are and how it is that you see fear. Fear is just the illusion. There's something on the other side of it. It's a mirage. It's not really real. It's not really substantive. It's just a shadow. And if you can step out of the shadow and the shame, I guarantee there's something in you that's going to cause you to shine. Embrace it. Lean into it. Here's what you got to do. You got to feel the fear and do it anyway. I've written 19 books. Don't you think I was afraid to write any of these books? Absolutely. What if it didn't work? What if nobody read it? What if it doesn't sound good? What if nobody buys it? What if nobody likes it? Dealing with all of that in my mind. But the reason I was able to release the book, because I got released from whatever was causing me to not write the book. Write the vision and make it plain. So they that readeth it is going to run. That's Habakkuk 2:2. You know what you've got to do. Time for you to get back to the basics of who it is that you are. Look yourself square in the eyes. Square your shoulders. Adopt confidence. And now shift the trajectory of your life. When you understand it's just an illusion. Your affirmation is greater than your illusion. Your love connection internally is greater than the illusion externally. That love connection inside has to abide. You got to love yourself. You got to know your worth. You got to speak life into your life. You have to spend time developing who it is that you are. That's how you love on you. Beyond anybody else, you got to love on you so that you can step into the purpose that God has for you. You can't expect a purpose partner if you have not first partnered with your purpose. Take your purpose off pause. Overcome the fear. Face the fear. And forsake the familiar. You can do it. Time to go for it. And let me show you how to get to the next level in my amazing, transformative online community called the Eagles Academy. It's the place where you're going to transform. It's the place where you're going to develop your gifts. It's the place where you're going to step into your purpose. This is the place in my amazing Eagles Academy is where you're going to now soar into a greater level of success and purpose. It's the place where you're closing the gap between your ideas, your impact, your influence, and your income, not only by yourself in a silo, but you're doing it around gifted accountability partners. I'm going to show you how to do that when you enroll. All you have to do is go to theeaglesacademy.com. When you get there, tap the Enroll Now button, fill out the form. I guarantee that you're going to be transformed. You're going to soar into greater success and into greater purpose. I'm excited for you. The strategic ideas I've got for you, the strategic teaching I've got for you, but also the amazing community to where you're going to be able to network with so many gifted leaders who are growing interpersonally, but also externally and collectively. Join us, theeaglesacademy.com. I understand that I hope this has been a transformative conversation for you. Conversation of transformation. Drop a love donation. You can do that on Cash App, $Dr. Eddie Ministries, on PayPal, info@EddieConnor.com, and then even on Zelle, EddieConnorJr @gmail.com, EddieConnorJr@gmail.com. Link is in the chat, links in the description of this video for how and where to give, but also how to support the work that I'm doing in the community, empowering people to overcome obstacles, feeding, serving, pastoring, developing. List goes on and on. Help me to give back in a greater way. As you give, I can give back in a greater way. Hit that thumbs up button on this video. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you thought about the show. I've been growing your greatness. Help me grow our channel for change. Follow me on all social sites. EddieConnorJr. Put some respect on my name, family. EddieConnorJr. Let me know what you thought about the show in the comments below. Yes. Just type face your fear. Type face your fear. Yeah. Face your fear And I understand and I know that you're going to soar to a greater level this year and any other year that follows after that. You got it. You got it. Let's go for it. That's what it is on the show. Of course, you know, it's yours truly, Dr. Eddie, your main man, 100 grand, your brother. And I mean that from another mother family. It's been fun, but you know, brother got to run. So I want you to know it's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure. But I want you, yes, you to remember to keep the faith and believe it's going to be bigger, better, brighter, peace, and a whole lot of love. Keep soaring.